Yeah, we perfect. Cool. So I'll give you guys a heads up. I've already started recording, so whatever we're saying right now, you're liable for, not me.
Okay.
Perfect. Haven't done this in a while. Obviously, for everyone that's watching right now, sorry for the squinting. It's hella bright out here. We're Beverly Hills right now. We're Beverly Hills, LA, with the one and only Metta World Peace. But obviously, if you're watching this, you would have known that already. And if you're not watching this, you're listening to the audio version of this. Welcome. We're sitting with the one and only 2004 defensive player.
Yeah.
Also 2010.
2010 champion.
2010 champion, and has just brought in another life into this world. So congratulations on that.
Absolutely. Thank you.
No worries, Mr. Metta World Peace. Thank you for being here.
Absolutely. It's a great collaboration, great reason to come outside in Los Angeles. And super excited.
Thank you. No, trust me, we're super excited. It was a long time coming, right? A lot of back and forth, which rightfully so. Like, we wanted to get everything right. Right, and so the fact that we're here now, and the day's been beautiful. The shoot has been amazing. So thank you for being so great with all that.
Absolutely.
This guy can act. He could voice act. He could do something. Like you'll see the clips when they come out and all the videos.
The sleep stories.
Sign me up.
Calm.
You know how like people have like white noise and all that other stuff. You should just do like an ASMR version of all that stuff. But what we want to do today is we want to have a conversation just for the other people, like for our audience. Some of yours as well, that your audience already knows who you are. Maybe a lot of us, for our audience, don't really know who you are as Metta World Peace, or formerly known as Ron Artest. We want to take it back and have that conversation of where everything started. So tell us, you being born and raised in New York, specifically Queensbridge, what was that like?
Yeah, I mean, Queensbridge was definitely a great experience. Every day you wake up confined by bricks, which has about 96 buildings that's made up of these red bricks. And there's a lot of talent within those bricks for years. Even before the Nas's, even before the Mobb Deeps, you had MC Shan, Marley Marl, who's produced Eric B. and Rakim, Big Daddy Kane. You have the likes of Hank Carter, who has a hospital in Harlem on 126th Street.
Yeah.
So many different types of celebrities, to Vern Fleming, who's a Olympian and a gold medalist, and the list goes on and on and on. You know, I remember growing up and just every day you go outside, even though we were less fortunate, but it felt like you were not in Hollywood, and not like in the suburbs, but you felt really confident, even though you didn't have enough money to put food into your pocket, in your stomach. It's a different feel being in Queensbridge.
100%. When do you feel like, or when do you know was the first time that you actually picked up a basketball and then you thought, look, I could make something out of this?
I mean, you know, basketball for me was a way to use energy. Because sometimes your energy is confined. As humans, we're super talented and super curious, but when your energy is confined, it's gonna escape somehow, some way. So basketball was that for me, and then using it as a vehicle to, stay relaxed. And, I became good at it. And then it was all of a sudden, it was something that if you keep playing, you could just make it. And I think at the age of 16, I was like, oh, I think I got a shot.
And obviously you came up in the 90s in New York. That's one of the most iconic times in New York basketball. How would you describe New York basketball at that time, with the energy of being from New York, everything that's happening, other players coming up at the same time?
Yeah, I think like in New York, the era we were in was probably one of the last eras where Rucker Park was packed every game, where Gershwin Park was packed. Gershwin Park is pretty packed now. Actually, I'm not gonna say Gershwin because that's when Gershwin Park just started. It wasn't packed, actually. But you'll get like, it's a big tournament, Gun Hill Road. Man, I can't believe it's one of the bigger tournaments, but it was just a different feel. You had Citywide, you had Millbank, you had UDC, you had Soul in the Hole, you had the Navy Yard. You had so many tournaments, basketball tournaments in every borough. I mean, I would play basketball all the time, and then you would go on the outskirts to Far Rock, and you'll just randomly run into a basketball tournament over there. You had PAL, New York City, anybody that's my age or a little bit older or a little bit younger, PAL was huge.
Yeah.
CYO, they still got CYO. So we came up in an era where we didn't need money.
Yeah.
You just needed basketball.
No, I love that. And you obviously came up around other amazing players at the same time. So your AAU team, we were talking about a bit earlier, Riverside Church, right? Can you explain some of those players that you came up with around the same time?
Yeah, definitely. So the Riverside Church, it was pretty much like a farm system. You would go into the farm system and then you make it to Riverside. The farm system back then was called Brooklyn Queens. So Brooklyn Queens, the team I was on, that was a powerhouse team, but nobody really knew what that team was because we were receiving funding from Mr. Ernest Lorch, who ran Riverside Church basketball. So that's about the age of 13. At the age of 13, 14, we all teamed up. We got pulled up, Lamar Odom, Elton Brand, myself, Reggie Jesse, Eric Barkley, Sharif Towns, let's go on, Kit, Aki, these other players that didn't quite make it.
Yeah.
From Roberto Gittins, who was at that point in time was really solid. Omar Cook was coming up behind that. We even played with Shea Cotton one time from California, but that the practices was so intense, which got me ready for St. John's practices with Fran Fraschilla, and then the NBA practices with the Indiana Pacers. And really what stands out in my NBA practices was Indiana Pacers and the Lakers.
Yeah.
Even though every team I was on, practice was lit.
Yeah.
Because I'm coming at you full speed.
Of course.
You could be a wealthy shooting guard.
Yeah.
With millions in your account, but I'm coming at your head every day.
Of course.
You're going to be uncomfortable. You're going to be uncomfortable. So, but that's how Riverside Church practice was.
Yeah.
And now it's different.
Yeah.
If people are not practicing, from what I hear.
Yeah.
Why do you think it is different now?
Well, I think honestly, the amount of money that the athletes are getting paid, I think they need a time for that to settle in.
Yeah.
Because it's incredible. You could be a ninth player and be wealthy.
Yeah.
You could literally be a ninth player, eighth player, and be wealthy. That wasn't the case back then. You wasn't wealthy.
Yeah.
So I think I think it took a little bit of time for everybody to settle into this wealth.
Yeah.
I can only imagine what's going through their head. You haven't came from anything. Now you got all the stuff.
Yeah.
And you don't want the money to change you. So, we got to give them a little bit of time to get into it.
Yeah.
And then they can set the new culture. Like, hey, you're getting paid a ton of money, but you got to come to practice. So I think the roadmap to that is on point.
From Riverside all the way into the NBA, where do you think, or not even think, what can you remember of where your mentality was at? Whether it's preparation from going from AAU all the way to the NBA, and where do you feel like your mental health was at that time?
Well, back at home in high school, the mental health was more, it was in the streets.
Yeah.
You go home, you get back with your friends. Some are in the streets, some fathers are not in their lives. The main thing is the fathers and the moms not being able to sustain relationships.
Yeah.
So you can't really raise your child. So then you get in, then the streets is raising you, so you become close to people in the streets.
Of course.
So you got to navigate that. All right, should I go to the store with him today at 5 o'clock, or should I go to the store with my friend at 10 a.m.?
Yeah.
Changes everything.
Yeah. 100%.
You know what I mean? Should I go grab an outfit, 10 train stops away, or not with my friend?
Yeah.
Depending on where you at in that particular time of the day and the month and the season, it changes everything.
Yeah.
So you're on call a lot mentally in terms of not staying out of jail.
Yeah.
I saw in an interview when we were just doing some research that you said you had this quote, like you wish you had a therapist when you were younger. How do you feel like that would have changed things for you, or like help through some of those difficult times?
I think the family is the most important piece. The therapist would have been great, but I think you got to think about it. Therapy is a Band-Aid on a wound, right? So the main thing was the disconnect from the families And that goes back in history.
Of course.
From slavery. And people say, why are you always going back to slavery? But it's a point where we were separated from the mom and dad, and it never was fixed. It never got fixed. So, you know, so I think therapy is like a Band-Aid. It's a good Band-Aid, but I think, you know, having a mom and a dad, you know, that changes everything.
Yeah.
And I did up at a certain point, but then they separated.
Yeah.
And at that point, therapy. I was receiving therapy at 13 years old, also a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think it actually made me more kind of lenient or acceptance of receiving therapy when I got in the NBA.
Yeah.
It wasn't foreign. I didn't feel uncomfortable. I was like, oh yeah, cool.
Yeah.
I've done this before.
Well, I know we're fast tracking just a little bit, but like, what's your relationship with therapy now?
My relationship with therapy now, it's a relationship that is more of a mentorship or an education for people out there that really don't even understand what it does for you, or it's available.
Yeah.
You know, and also for regulation, because sometimes it's too expensive for people to pay for a therapist.
Yeah.
So I think I, you know, was a part of changing the mindset of the corporations, changing the mindset of the institutions, the professional teams.
Yeah.
You look at, from when I said I want to thank my psychiatrist on national TV, to look at all the implementation of mental health.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I think that's my relationship, actually bringing it to light, and then actually, I think my job is done, honestly.
Yeah.
Because people taking it and running with it.
Yeah.
Since then, the Calm app can come out.
Yeah.
Look at everything that happened in the mental health space since this brand right here. I want to thank my psychiatrist.
Yeah.
So my work is done.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're probably one of the first athletes that have been so open about mental health, or like brought it into the forefront. Like, did that come easy to you? Did you know what you were doing at the time, or were you just being yourself? Like, where did that come from?
At the time when I was really coming out there about therapy and mental health, it was because I figured, how can someone pay for this? You know, we're on TV and people are like, oh yeah, go run our tests, go Kobe. But when you look at where we're from, our friends that we love, there's no go Mike, there's no go Dwayne.
Yeah.
They gotta figure it out on their own. And yeah, I gotta check, I do my thing, I can pay for therapy, they can't.
Yeah.
So I'm like, wow, this is not only happening to my friends, but what about the other parts of the city, the other states, the other country, the world? So I said, I need to start bringing more exposure to it to let people know, yes, I also see therapy.
Yeah.
And if I'm someone you can relate to, then hopefully I could have eased your day up. Maybe you could have said, oh wow, Metta World Peace is going through that too.
Yeah.
And this is how he got through it.
Yeah.
That don't cost nothing.
Yeah, like, it makes sense. People are watching you, they're idolizing you, you're winning a title, you're winning Defensive Player of the Year. If you're okay to talk about it, then why can't they?
Yep.
So I think something as simple as just you being yourself and being open probably touched a lot of people's lives that you'll never really know about.
Yeah, exactly. And then after I thanked my psychiatrist on national television, I had, to this day, from 2010 all the way to 2024. But even back then, therapists was thanking me because their clients was like, oh, run our test, sees therapy. I think I'm gonna do it. Or I'm coming back to therapy happy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you everything. Actual therapist was coming to me.
Yeah.
We should actually give all therapists a discount on the brand. Maybe 2%.
See, I can't say anything about it. That's y'all. You guys figure that. Y'all figure that one out.
No, but it was incredible to see even make an impact on the therapist.
Yeah. I think for me, the biggest thing is having a man say, one, thank you to my psychiatrist, thank you to my psychologist, actually talking about mental health, because it's only, I think, nowadays that we're actually having that conversation a bit more openly.
Yeah.
Right. Obviously, growing up in the '90s, being from a Filipino family, a lot of it was, let's not talk about your feelings, especially as a boy, as a man, right? So to see someone on TV in the early 2000s and like the late 90s talk about their mental health gave me a little bit of hope for the future to be like, yo, I could actually have conversation about my feelings. And it doesn't mean I have to, at that point in time, have to speak to a psychiatrist, psychologist, or a therapist by any means, but it was to actually just, you know, emote, just saying how I feel. So I honestly want to say thank you for all that, because you are a pillar within that ecosystem of like male mental health, right? So shout out to you, and yeah, still shout out to your psychologist.
Even though when she called me the next day and
This is hilarious.
It's a great story. Yeah.
she said, Metta, she said, Ron, I was Ron at the time, you know, I'm not a psychiatrist, I'm a psychologist. I said, oh. And I thought the whole time I was seeing a psychiatrist, but the reason I didn't really backtrack, because, you know, in media, people make fun of you. Even media with the actual people that have the actual jobs that run the narratives and can change the mind of people. You know, oh, this person's crazy. You know, and that was a narrative from 1999. Before that,
Of course.
so when I said I think my psychiatrist, oh man, he's crazy, sound bites. They get sound bites, it's advertisement dollars, more money in their pockets, but they don't know the effect it's having on somebody. They don't care.
No.
They don't care. You know, so when I said that, I said, oh, I gotta correct people, because people might think I'm on medicine. But I said, you know, the other thing is, I want people to understand I'm not on medication, but sometimes people do need medication, and I didn't want to pull the stigma from that.
Of course.
Which is why I just left it as is, even on this hat.
Yeah, I love that.
You know, but I said, you know, we'll just leave it as is, because it's okay to have a psychologist and a psychiatrist if you need.
No, I definitely love that. And again, it's just you being yourself. And yeah, I just want to go back to something you said there. You know, obviously earlier in your career, let's just say through Chicago and Indiana, like people tried to label you a certain way. The media, ESPN, people had a certain viewpoint about you or how they spoke about you. How did that affect you at that time? If you were to go back to that age, that time, what was running through your head, and like how did you feel about how people were talking about you at the time?
Well, you know, at the time, and still narratives are set down, opinions, but really, I love my neighborhood so much. And it's different, like when you're from the hood, and if I go to Chicago, if I go to Far Rockaway, people, they respect it, they understand it, they can relate to it. When you hear the music from the Nas's and the Mobb Deeps, when they talking about, I was a kid, I was in that. So even the music that we put out is inspiring what soundtracks they're gonna play during the games, you know? So for me, it's like these cornballs have an opinion. You know, but I couldn't quite get it because the media messages are stronger than my message.
For sure.
I can't really fight against it.
Yeah.
So I just had to take it. I just listened to it and look at it like, okay, these people have opinions and they calling people like me. They say thug.
Mm-hmm.
And what they don't understand is like the parents were separated, we're raised by the streets. We don't know how these negative assets is coming into our community, being that of weapons, you know, or substance.
Yeah.
We don't know where we don't grow these in our community.
Yeah.
We don't manufacture.
Yeah.
So for you to use that and pin it on us because we have no control, and then some people are just trying to make money, that's like me saying to a kid, walking up to a kid with no parent, and the kid is lost and saying, you look stupid. You know?
Yeah.
I would never say that. I would be like, how are you doing? Are you okay? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's like walking up to a homeless person and be like, you smell.
Yeah.
I would never say that. I would give the homeless person $100.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But some people, because they're getting paid to do that.
It's their livelihood.
Yeah.
And
Especially back then. Like, I feel like now it's
Especially
more,
back
you know, people are more conscious about what they say and how they critique players. But back in the 90s with yourself, or even with Rodman before, like there was no thought about how you feel or anything like that. It's just
made a lot of
open
money
season.
doing it. Yeah. It's not even the actual people behind the mic, it's also the people that's paying them.
Yeah.
It's okay to minimize people. It's okay to talk about their vices, and it's okay not to have any sympathy for them. It's really good for television. So in my mind, I'm just like, I just got to eat it, and and now things is changing, and now these same people are trying to say, oh yeah, mental health is great. Like you did not support that in '99. you're super fake.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it feels like
But
because
they're still making money on it.
Yeah.
no, but it feels like because you knew who you are and you know where you come from, you know your neighborhood, you know people relate to you.
Yeah.
What the media said didn't bother you as much because you didn't take their opinion as fact.
Yeah, I was one of the first ones that came out. I wasn't saying a lot of things, but in terms of, you know, being kind of rebellious, call it,
Yeah.
I was early.
Yeah.
Now a lot of people's like, oh, coming out and injustice and all this stuff. I mean, I was early to that space because my thing was this. You know, we got to be more sympathetic to people. You know, people are struggling. People are going through things. Even though I made it to them, even when I made it to the NBA, I got a job at Circuit City. Like we need to bring more of just more authenticity to just entertainment and celebrity and fame. Because you look how many people made it and overdosed.
Yeah.
You know how many people had so much money and families are broken. You know, they made the money but couldn't keep it. It's like so many different things that people don't really understand. Out of touch.
Yeah. Why do you? It felt like when you got that move to LA, that narrative started to shift. Like, what do you think changed about that move? And kind of like you knew who you were, people knew who you were, but why did the media at that point things started to change with that move to the Lakers?
Well, I think it's sometimes, you know, with the Lakers, the Lakers they brought me here to Los Angeles. And I was also getting in a lot of trouble on my own. Honestly, I was getting in a lot of trouble. But I think it changed because I really wanted to do good. I was literally helping a lot of people.
Yeah.
And the people and a lot of media, they didn't understand why I was getting so much love. It's because while you're just talking about me, I'm actually making change.
Yeah.
While I'm going through my worst time in my life. Personally, I'm still making change. They can't see, they don't even understand how I'm making change.
Yeah.
You know, like when I got the citizenship award, they didn't even understand how I got that.
Yeah.
It's because while you're talking about me with your great family and your great situation, and you can see my bad situation publicly, I'm doing way more good than you are behind the scenes.
Yeah.
You know, so for me, it was always about that. Like, keep it real. Like, no matter how much you're going through, never let that keep you from helping somebody else.
Yeah. But talk more about that, the Citizenship Award. What is that? I'm not keen on it, so you let us know.
Yeah.
What is it?
The Citizenship Award is one of the biggest awards you can get in the NBA. MVP is number 1. Defensive Player of the Year is number 2. The Citizenship Award is probably number 3. Maybe not quite before the MVP of the All-Star game.
Yeah.
You know, but it's like top 5.
Yeah.
You know, so it's really hard to get.
Where were you with that, and also being Defensive Player of the Year in 04, and then also then in 2010 winning the championship? Where were you at mentally for all 3 of those moments? What did it feel like? Where were you at? Tell us about that.
Defensive Player of the Year award, I was on my way. I got that award. It was a bucket of real enforcers.
Yeah.
Shaq.
Yeah.
Tim Duncan.
Yeah.
Ben Wallace. Rasheed Wallace. Kevin Garnett. All these people. And I was the smallest guy.
Which is wild.
I was the smallest guy. So that award was like, and I was 23 years old. So I was really, I had a real impact on the game.
Yeah.
You know, I was in a space of trying to be great, but also trying to figure out how am I gonna, you know, take care of my family when I'm on a court.
Yeah.
Like, how do you navigate it? How do you create structure? And since I wasn't able to create that structure, I became unstructured.
Yeah.
So it was really chaotic.
Yeah.
So that's where I was in that mind state. During the championship, great mind state. It really happened. It started happening in 2007, but 2008, the year before that, was mentally focused, and it was all about basketball. I was actually really good, even though I only averaged 7 points. Because I had a Kobe on my team. I had Lapau Gasol, you know. But the year before that, against them, I actually averaged 25 in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So I was really good in 2010.
Yeah.
Really good.
Yeah.
But I wasn't able to show it.
Yeah.
So there I was more of I was probably at my best or well-rounded basketball player, mentally focused. It's probably one of the best I've ever felt. And then the citizenship award came later.
Yeah.
And I was at my best from a philanthropic perspective.
Yeah.
I was in the zone.
Yeah.
And now I'm still in the zone.
Yeah.
From a philanthropic perspective. And I actually gave a lot of ideas to people. If you look what people are doing now in the mental health space, I got awards from the Biden administration. I got awards from Congresswoman Napolitano. I was on Capitol Hill talking about this. I got so many awards.
Yeah.
You know, and I see what these people are doing. So, you know, that moment kind of was a seed, and I don't even know who else is benefiting, or it kind of inspired.
Yeah. Playing with the late great Mamba, do you still take the Mamba mentality? Whether, like, what was that like on the court for you and learning from him with that? And then also, what was it like off the court? What was that like?
The Mamba mentality, because I think I grew up, well, in the NBA, I grew up competing. I was a adversary of Kobe.
Yeah.
So I never knew I would play with Kobe.
Yeah.
It never even crossed my mind.
Yeah.
You know, because in our era, we want to play against the best. We don't want to switch sides.
Yeah.
And that we got, you know, so, but then when I got on his team, I was like, oh, you know, first practice was incredible. It was super intense. But then I was like, oh, this is why he's great. I actually saw it from my eyes, and it's just like another level.
Yeah.
And on a more serious note, obviously, with his passing and you guys being great friends, like, how did you take that news, or like, how did you kind of overcome that kind of emotionally and as an obstacle in your life?
Yeah, when Kobe passed, it was tough. It was unexpected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like we're fresh out of the NBA. He was retired. I was retired. You know, we still have that competitive edge. So we're playing things in your head about the game. You still got that competitive edge. Like when you see Kobe, or when you're freshly retired, you still want to compete.
Yeah.
Right. So that's my mindset I was in at that time. When he passed away, it was just like I visioned it as he was figuring a way to get out the problem. You know, maybe he'd fly the plane or something, because Kobe could just solve anything to me.
Yeah.
And I was actually, you know, I always had a vision of him just walking in, like just figuring out maybe how to come back to life or something like that. Because I'm just not surprised. I wouldn't even be surprised.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if I saw him. It was really hard to really come to grips with that he's not here. And now I have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the first couple of years, I was just waiting for him to walk into my door, which he's never came into my house.
Yeah.
And I think and I was actually being mentored by him, actually, talking to him about my business and digital marketing, and just trying to, I wanted to make sure I dig deep into what I'm doing now. And so he was applying his Mamba mentality in his business, and I was trying to take a little bit and apply it to mine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. And obviously your guys' lives are you're always going to be intertwined with the championship, with the shot, and against the Celtics. And
Yeah.
what did that moment mean to you when he passed you the ball, you hit that shot, you guys are celebrating together, and I'm sure that'll always live in your memory.
In the moment, I was happy. I knew one day I was going to win a title. I always wanted to win a ring. I was also frustrated because I wasn't playing well. I only averaged 7 points. You know, so just the perception of that, even me thinking of 7 points, I can't live with myself.
Yeah.
I'm at 15 or 20 every season, you know?
Yeah.
So then as I got through that season and I had a big moment, and in the playoffs I had big games, big closeout games. And I was like, well, yeah, I am good. So it was a little bit of frustration and a little bit of happiness like mixed in. And I wear my passion on my sleeve, so you can kind of, clearly it shows.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, you know, it was a little bit, it was a lot of emotions, a little bit of relief, a little bit of thankfulness and grateful, being grateful. And then also like paying homage to myself. Like I worked so hard you know, and there was a lot of people in the league at that time that was trying to win the title, and we did it.
Yeah.
I only got one, but for me, it's kind of still special.
Yeah.
Although now I'm removed from it, but it still has a special place in my heart.
Yeah. I know, one, again, congratulations on the newborn.
Thank you.
With having myself as well, three kids of my own, the conversation of mental health, or like at least talking about your feelings, is like a daily thing for me with the kids. What was that like, whether it's with your first child all the way up to your more recent child? What is, like, do you have conversations with your kids about it? Because you are such a pillar, not even just to, again, your kids, but to the whole world, right? What is that conversation like, and do you have that conversation with the kids?
Well, my kids is different, because I grew up so rough, tough. You know, I'm always just trying to prepare my kids for the world.
Yeah.
I'm never really preparing them for what fame I bring. And that's a lot of pressure because I'm so normal and regular, but this is not a regular life. You know, so sometimes I have to, you know, we kind of go through it together, and I think they're used to it now also.
Yeah.
Because, you know, because I'm so normal and I'm just regular, and it's not regular. Sometimes we have to have those conversations, but I think we're adjusted. I think we're well adjusted now.
Yeah.
And I think they have great personality. They're super regular, super normal.
Yeah.
You know, and different things like that.
And now that your journey in basketball is done, how has your mental health journey changed now? And do you have continuing on the conversations with your kids? Do you talk to your kids about, you know, being vulnerable or sharing their emotions and speaking what's on their mind?
Yeah, always encourage being vulnerable and sharing what's on their mind. But I think more now it's because our life is our lives. It has nothing to do with basketball.
Yeah.
It's more about just any other advice like a parent would give their child.
Yeah.
You know, entrepreneurship, being an employee, being an entrepreneur, still giving back to the world.
Yeah.
You know, and going after your dreams and having fun. It's more that.
Yeah.
It's definitely removed from basketball.
Yeah, I love it. And I think Johnathan has some photos we wanted to kind of give you and kind of get your thoughts and kind of what comes to mind when you see just some moments, you know, that we thought of kind of stand out in your career.
So I'll preface it this way. As I show you the photos, right, I kind of do this thing with a lot of the guests where we play almost like Pictionary, or more of that description of either the word that I give you or the image that I give you, a song, and how like a certain feeling towards the things that you personally are going to see now.
Yeah.
You can elaborate on it, put a word to it. Just give me a description of what you think and how you feel based off the images I show you.
Okay.
Yeah? All right, cool. Thank you.
Gotcha.
We'll start with this.
Dennis Rodman, number 91, definitely somebody I always wanted to play like. I respect, and I feel like I understood Dennis. You know, and I wanted to let him know when I got to the league, which is why I changed my number to 91. And I wanted to show him that I'm gonna dominate in your number.
Yeah.
And I was dominating.
Yeah.
And I wanted to pay homage before the brawl happened. I was dominating in his number. You know, and I wanted to just show him that, hey, we do see you, and we understand you, and we
I love
support
that.
you.
Have you ever had a conversation with him about that?
Absolutely, yeah. Dennis
I
knows I
love
love
that.
him. We
I
had
love
lots
that.
of conversations.
Bet. Next.
Yeah, this was like really crazy because this was actually my first game winner, like where the time is off the clock, and I didn't even know what was happening. I was so focused on the game,
Yeah.
and then when I realized the shot went in and we was actually in a game 5,
Yeah.
and I'm like, this is crazy. And every half of a second or tenth of a second, it was like, oh wow, this is really crazy. And then I found Kobe, jumped on Kobe.
Yeah.
I wasn't having a great individual game,
Yeah.
so I wasn't about to like show the crowd like, yeah, cause I wasn't having that type of game.
Yeah.
But it was a big shot.
Yeah.
It's a
Collectively.
huge shot.
Yeah. 100%.
So I was like, wow. I didn't know how to, honestly, I didn't know how to respond.
Yeah.
And I jumped on Kobe because I actually wanted to show him how much I love him. So I just jumped on him like I was a little boy.
That's love right there.
I wish
That's
I could do
love,
it over
yeah.
and like
That's love.
give him a 5.
Yes. Next.
This was funny. This was at an era where I was just doing my own thing, getting into comedy, getting into Hollywood. I was in shape, and I also was just letting people see my personality. Like, I don't know what everybody else is saying, but I got personality.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Tell you to take your shirt off on Jimmy Kimmel and my boxes. You know, like.
Did he know you? Did he know you were gonna do that, or was it a complete surprise?
He didn't know what I was gonna do. I was in such good shape. It's unbelievable. But it was just showing my personality and being normal. You can be eccentric and also, you know, go on Jimmy Kimmel.
Yeah,
I love
also
it.
a great dominating force on the court.
Yeah,
right.
absolutely.
You can be all these things.
Absolutely.
Oh.
This team was a great team. This team was
It's one of my favorite teams personally. Like growing up as a kid.
There's no way this team don't win a championship.
Yeah.
This team right here, you know, when Yao broke his foot, T-Mac was out.
Yeah.
I just don't know how we lose. That's how we lose. And you know, next year I go to the Lakers, and it's kind of unfortunate. I went to the Lakers, and I love the Lakers, but there's nobody that was beating that team in the league. And once again, that was in 2008. So go to the list.
That was.
And look at everybody who was in the league.
You were
at that time.
in the prime of your career. That T-Mac was in the prime of his career. Yao Ming was great.
That was a
That
three-headed
team,
monster.
yeah.
And
If it wasn't for injuries, who knows what that team could have
that team would have
accomplished?
been great. We was the only team to give the Lakers a competition.
Yeah.
So that was the championship game, really.
Yeah. And last but not least.
This right here is old school basketball in New York City, just coming up. Not that good at all. I know that, but I was okay. And this is kind of where it started. That's my boy Cat Boy, Javed Me to my right, Muhammad to my. Actually, not Muhammad. I forget it. My bad. I forgot his name. He gonna kill me, but Rashad, me to the left. Like I said, Cat Boy was sticking his tongue out. That's where it started, you know. And definitely owe a lot to that group right there.
I love it.
Well, with that all being said, to wrap this up, I want to say personally thank you for being here and allowing us to do this with you. Shoot, that's it. That's a wrap.
Same here, man. Thanks a lot.
Perfect.
Peace Collective, baby.
Love. Dropping soon, if obviously we'll have you know what, it's out now based off when we're dropping this, but Metta World Peace, guys. Perfect.
Thank you, man. That was great.
Brother,
Thank you, man. Thanks for the whole experience.
No worries. Thank
And
you.
the collaboration has been great.
Man,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I know. Thank you for doing the sun. It's
Yeah,
hot. It's hot.
Yeah. Just don't move too much.
I tried not to.
It's actually a good, like,